machen.
What are we doing, Uncle Thomas?
We're trying to lubricate the shaft. It sounds bad, but that's actually what we do.
That sounds really bad.
Yeah.
Now, I think many of you are already becoming familiar with our good friend Thomas and his sailboat, Be Free. If you haven't seen any of Thomas's videos, he does a really great series of technical videos on boat design, accompanied of course by the usual debauchery that he experiences as he sails around single-handed on a Bavaria 55. Now that's a handful. But if you also remember well, this clip was from a recent episode just before we left San Andres when we discovered that we had developed a major leak in our prop shaft seal. Well, Thomas was the first one to come over and try and help us get this problem resolved before we were supposed to set to sea for Panama. We had a great first voyage, but of course, most of it was motoring in light winds. And of course, that was a bit of torture for our wounded prop shaft seal. What we didn't realize was the problem ran much deeper than that, and while we thought we'd arrive in Bocas del Toro and be able to take a little downtime after our first successful trip offshore with little Richie, unfortunately, that is not gonna happen anytime soon, because our problem just got much, much worse.
Attack of the killer fan.
Hey boy, every time you look at me, I know you see my knees go weak, trying to keep it together.
Hey girl, I never ever thought we'd be, I never ever thought I'd see. Then I saw your smile. Oh, we can go across the oceans and see the world tonight. Oh, say hello to the mountains and watch the new sunrise. But no matter what the country, the city, the street, by land or by sea, together forever is my favorite place to be.
Back in stage 2 of fixing our leaking prop shaft seal. Actually getting prepared to replace it, but we've had to do a major modification to the tube, including cutting off a piece of our existing propeller shaft tube, and now we have to raise the engine, and that's what we're working on here now. And of course,
with the help of Ricardo.
yeah, Ricardo's here, ready to help.
Okay,
You can get right in
go.
there, eh, buddy? Yep.
Ricardo.
He wants to see exactly what's going on.
Richie,
Let's go
what's
to the
happening?
starboard.
huh? What are you doing?
Yeah,
What are you doing, eh, Richie? What are
You ready to
doing?
help
ask
fix
for
the motor?
Dolly while I'm daddy? Huh?
Okay, so to summarize in a nutshell for you what's happened here, if you remember back a few months ago when we installed the new engine, we had an issue with the alignment. The new transmission output coupler was 2 inches lower than the one on the previous engine, so this obviously presented a big problem.
When we raise up the engine, gaps may appear here and there. We measure and do a fine tuning to be very, very good aligned. It is good alignment, but it's down.
We had to have 4 big platforms fabricated that would raise the engine up that additional 2 inches that we needed. That was all great and everything went off just fine. But what we didn't realize is when we did our nearly perfect alignment, the propeller shaft was still too low in the tube. So the consequence of that was every time we were running the motor, the propeller shaft was grinding away at the inside of the shaft tube. Not good. Eventually, the shaft just kept grinding away at the tube, and then it actually ruptured the prop shaft seal. Now, we have a big problem, because now there's water coming in the backside of the prop shaft seal, and we can't stop it. So, enter another friend, also Rick, from the boat next door called Mai Tai. When I put out a call that we were taking on water and couldn't stop it, he hopped right in his dinghy and came over with his dive gear. Because the first priority is to stop the water from entering the boat, and right now the only place we can do that is from outside. So we messed around with a few ideas about how to seal the shaft at the cutlass bearing, and eventually the perfect piece that did the job was a 1-inch slice of Maddie's yoga mat. Yoga mat to the rescue. We tightly wrapped that around the shaft and then secured it in place with another tightly piece wrapped of double-sided Velcro. Voila! Job done. No more water. Not even a drip. So now we could focus on opening up the seal, which of course immediately revealed the problem. There was a big gaping hole in our prop shaft tube. Now, with our other good friend Dorival, who you've seen here helping me to raise the engine basically 2 to 3 millimeters just so that the prop shaft will no longer rub on the tube.
Yeah, our good friend Dorval's been here and he's helping with everything from the start because we've had to do some fiberglassing, cutting, repairing, rebuilding of our propeller shaft tube, which is a major undertaking, especially since we're still in the water. Okay, so now, with all 4 loosened, we'll be able to just slowly start turning these lower bolts and raising the engine up just a couple of millimeters, just enough to get rid of this problem where the shaft is actually touching the tube.
Then we determined it was best if we actually just cut off the piece of the old tube because we discovered that our prop shaft tube is actually a tube inside of a tube.
The shaft is going to line up with the ring.
Yeah, the ring we're gonna be about here.
Thankfully, Jeannot, when they built this boat, had designed the prop shaft tube with an extra length already in place just in case of such an emergency. So once we cut back the old piece, all we had to do was scale down the outer tube down to the inner tube. And voila, we had a brand new piece of tube. So now, all we need is a new seal.
Yep, it finally arrived. A new PSS shaft seal. So today, hopefully, we're going to make all of our leaking problems go away. I hope. But yeah, this is a brand new PSS shaft seal. It's a compression bellows coupler. And basically, it's comprised of 2 different components. This is the bellows compression fitting. So this is what's going to clamp onto the prop shaft tube that you saw Dorival replacing or refitting there a while ago. It has this end on it right here, which is a carbon disc, and the carbon spins up against a stainless ring that compresses it on the prop shaft. So this is the carbon ring right here. And this carbon ring gets clamped on. It has 2 gaskets inside that seal it against the prop shaft. So now there's no more movement between the prop shaft and the prop seal, whereas that's what wears out the old seals, the ones I use, like the Volvo one that you saw before. So once this is in place, it compresses against the carbon disc that you see on the bellows portion, and through that compression, the 2 discs rub against each other and create a perfect seal, which stops any water from coming in between the 2. So next, remove the shaft coupling, right?
Take this guys loose first. You have something better than this? It's locked.
What, the screwdriver?
No, these Carlin screws.
Which screws?
These ones. Oh my god.
Oh, okay, I've got something, tube that you can put on the end of it just to get them started.
Yes, something like this.
Because they were just put on not long ago, so they should be a fresh seat, but they've been painted also. Okay, 1 sec, I'll get the tube.
Okay.
And 1 tube. You never know when a tube is going to come in handy, but this thing comes in handy all the time. Portion control. There you go.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Wow. They're really on there. Last guy we saw have his engine changed, lost his prop shaft because the mechanics didn't tighten the prop shaft coupler up to enough. First time he put it in reverse, it just blew right out the back.
Oh my god. The third one is a little bigger.
Alright, what?
The small hammer.
Small hammer.
Monday.
Yeah.
Because it's Monday, you're okay. The bigger one is Thursday.
Yeah.
And the biggest one is Friday, when you won't go home. The big one, you know. So
Well, it's only Thursday, but I'll go get the big one, okay?
Yeah, the Friday is fine.
The Friday's fine. But yeah, it's only Thursday. But we're gonna get that sucker off fast. Friday. Now I'm sure our Friday might not be as big as some of your Fridays, but this is good enough for a boat. Friday, sir.
Yes, that's fine. Friday is perfect.
Beautiful. Nice. Got it.
Because I have to move this, you know, today.
But that would be a full, non-tapered, flat-end shaft, right?
Yes, it's a parallel one.
Right, so we need to take a picture of that for
Okay,
the propeller
take a
company.
picture, because there is some things here that may then if I make damage on the O-rings. So I have to polish this and try.
Okay.
You know. Yes, perfect. We're gonna be perfect.
Good. Okay.
I will remove this guy.
And lots of water.
Yeah, we're coming.
Here comes the waterfall. Yeah, and that's a pretty bad leaking seal.
Yes. Let me see if I will be able to remove this guy.
Oh, you got it.
Take this off, Molly.
Hang on, I got it.
Which size is this guy? You remember?
Yeah, read the letters from the engine.
Like this? No, this.
Where's the letters? I can't read them from here. Let me see. Yeah, like this.
Okay. Come on, guy.
Okay. Oh no, even with these it's too slippery. It's got too much soap on it.
Ah. Ah. Let's put this guy back. Give him.
Well, oh, it's right here. Is the key inside the flange?
Let me see.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's there.
it is. It is inside. You
Okay.
see?
Yeah, good, good. Little more. Little more. Need to tap it with the hammer. Just needs another millimeter. Yeah, I think that's good. that sounds better.
Okay. Now another cup of water.
Almost there.
And just lock the screws.
Wow.
Another cup of water, please.
Coming.
I need to stress a little bit.
Okay, so just reclamp it again.
Yeah. You untight and then do a little bit more. Untight here, please.
Okay, coming. Oh, wow.
No, again.
Tighten?
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
So I'm thinking by now you might be getting the idea that this was a bit of a process. And yes, I'd have to concur. And in fact, this video took place over the course of over 2 weeks. That's how long it took us to complete this project start to finish. And I can't say thanks enough to Dorival for his help, because as you remember, it wasn't that long ago that I had my bike accident and damaged both of my wrists. And that makes actions like this with wrenches and twisting and turning almost impossible. So thanks again so much, Dorival. Your help was greatly appreciated. But with this project finally laid to rest, it was time to chill. And what better place to do it than the floating bar right next door.
Ciao, Daddy.
Back soon, Tiki.
Nena loca, me tiene loco en la cabeza cuando me tocas. Siento que todo está bien, pero en verdad yo no sé si tú lo sientes también. Entonces quiero saber por qué desde que te...
Yeah, tonight's one of our really nice nights, nice sunset here in Bocas del Toro, Panama. So we've been here for a little while and hanging out with our friends that we met up in San Andres and some new friends here. So everybody's going over to meet at the floating bar tonight because it's Monday night, and Monday night they have live band playing. So always a good place to have sunset happy hour drinks, a little entertainment, hang out for an hour, and go home. So that is what we are doing this evening.
Yo vivo diferente, no me importa a mí lo que dice la gente, porque tú siempre la aprendes, candela, te quiero a mi lado toda la vida, mi nena, la mano pegada y los pies en la arena, pase lo que pase, baby, vale la pena, ay, baby, yo te quiero, es mentira todo lo que te dijeron, sabes que mi amor por ti es verdadero, yo te soy fiel, nena, yo te soy sincero.
And there is the floating bar. Timing is everything. Oh, there's Brittany. Where'd Maddie go?
Right here. Actually, I was just finding her.
Oh, okay. I walked right past you.
See, you passed me.
Didn't quite recognize you with the hat.
Here they are.
Oh, we were there at the same time.
He's starting to get curious what happens if he pokes you in the eye.
I bite.
Oh, that sounds like a great. What? Whoa. Good person to shallow water. Oh. In shallow water. Is the building on fire? 7. Like you could do that.
Welcome everybody. Nosotros somos los que la forman más. Dice